The Red Sox ace Josh Beckett takes the ball today in Cincinnati as the Sox go after the rubber game of this interleague series.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to Fenway Park.
They struck him out, and the Red Sox win. Welcome to Great American Ballpark in Cincinnati, Ohio. It's Game 3 of the 3-game series between the Red Sox and the Cincinnati Reds. Hi again, everybody. I'm Don Orsillo. Welcome to Red Sox baseball. Well, today the Red Sox end their first leg of this interleague road trip that starts here in Cincinnati and goes on to Philadelphia for Boston. It's time now for our leading off segment brought to you by Firestone as we review some of the news and notes for the Red Sox. Since 06, they're a nifty 32-9 in interleague play, tied for best in the majors in that category, and 4-1 so far this year against the National League. Red Sox during the day incredibly good. They're hitting at .317. Youkilis leading the Red Sox at .420 during day games, and Jacoby Ellsbury has now tied the Red Sox rookie record for stolen bases. Jacoby Ellsbury is still a guy who's still learning.
You know, I've learned a lot. Louis, Alcé, and I, we spend a lot of time just kind of going over things, looking at pictures, and I think I've definitely grown in a sense of just understanding, you know, what they're trying to do in different situations, and it's paid off.
We welcome in Jerry Remy. And Jerry, today the Red Sox without Manny Ramirez in the lineup again.
Well, you know, Don, one of the concerns coming into National League ballparks, the fact that the Red Sox did not have the DH available to them or David Ortiz. Well, yesterday was not a problem because the Red Sox offense was spectacular, especially the first 5 guys in the lineup. Jacoby Ellsbury with another great day, 2 for 5, across a couple of stolen bases. Pedroia, who has been cooled off, is now getting hot again, 2 for 5. J.D. Drew continues to scorch the ball, filling in for Ortiz. Mike Lowell, a big day, and of course Kevin Youkilis here back in Cincinnati, playing in front of family and friends. A big day, 3 for 5 with that huge home run for the Red Sox late in the ball game to give them finally the lead. And you can imagine the feeling for Youkilis coming back to play here. It's always been special for him. He had so many people, maybe 200 people here yesterday watching him play, and to get that kind of home run to give the Red Sox the go-ahead, followed by Coco Chris, was very special. But, you know, they are very fortunate right now because yesterday swinging the bat against one of the best pitchers in the National League right now, and again this afternoon they don't have Manny Ramirez in the lineup. The hamstring's still bothering him, so they're going to try to get the same type of production from these guys at the top of the lineup. You had to be impressed with that game yesterday, facing one of the top guys in the National League without Manny Ramirez, without David Ortiz, and still pulling off a victory like that.
Well, today the Red Sox deal with Homer Bailey, who comes into the game 0-2 and has never faced the Red Sox. First pitch from Cincinnati is next. Boston Red Sox baseball on NESN is brought to you by Southwest Airlines, Hess, your New England Chevrolet dealers, Aflac, Molson, your New England Toyota dealers, Rico, and by Sovereign Bank, the official bank of the Red Sox cable network. You know, a beautiful day and a very happy Father's Day to all the dads out there as we come to you from Great American Ballpark in Cincinnati, Ohio, where it is a spectacular day. Not a cloud in the sky as the Red Sox and Reds wrap up this 3-game series from Cincinnati. We send it downstairs now to Heidi Watney. Heidi?
Hey, Don, I want to wish a happy Father's Day to everyone out there. In honor of the occasion, Jason Varitek will be wearing special catcher's gear lined in blue today. It's going to benefit prostate cancer research.
I don't know, it started off as something fun, and then sometimes it's like maybe I'm being ridiculous, but the camo was really fun. You know, but it just, I mean, I don't really step out on a limb that much, and the catching company, you know, came to me with some ideas to do this for these opportunities, and it ends up it's worked really well.
The gear will be auctioned off at RedSox.com with all the proceeds going to the Prostate Cancer Foundation. That'll be starting tomorrow. Don?
All right, thanks very much, Heidi. Of course, Major League Baseball and the Prostate Cancer Foundation today teaming to increase awareness and early detection of prostate cancer. You see a lot of light blue, the wristbands, and underneath the eyes of a lot of the players today as the Red Sox partaking, as they always do, on this Father's Day Sunday in conjunction with Major League Baseball. And the light blue wristbands that we see, of course, on Mother's Day always have the pink. This is the light blue here in recognition of dads across America and awareness of prostate cancer. And Jerry, they wrap up this first leg in what has been a pretty good series so far against the Cincinnati Reds.
Well, it has, Don. A very exciting game yesterday. Obviously, it looked like one that was going to slip away from the Red Sox when Papelbon gave up the home run, but they bounced right back with Kevin Youkilis and Coco Crisp against Mike Lincoln to take that lead, and of course Greg Hansen coming in to pick up the save for the Red Sox. So a big day for Youkilis here yesterday. Gets his first start in Cincinnati against with family and friends all over this ballpark for him, and that has to be very special. I know that feeling the first time that you go into your home ballpark to play. It's always exciting. You're a little bit nervous. Sometimes you try to do a little bit too much, and after a couple of strikeouts early in the game, he bounced back with 3 straight hits, including the big home run. So a nice win for the Red Sox yesterday. Very interesting game. A lot of crazy things going on in that game, and a hard battle to come up with a W.
Well, we'll be back with the first pitch from Cincinnati after this. Welcome back to Great American Ballpark in Cincinnati. The Red Sox and the Reds preparing for the third game of this 3-game series, the rubber game today from Cincinnati. And as we take a look at the Red Sox standings, the Red Sox at the moment a 1.5 lead over the Tampa Bay Rays. They began action today, the Yankees and Orioles, and then the Blue Jays, who've fallen 7.5 back of the Red Sox to begin the day. It's been a tough start to the season for the Cincinnati Reds in the National League Central as they find themselves at the bottom, currently 11.5 games back of the Cubs, and they are 4 games under 500. A lot of teams in between them and the top spot in the NL Central. Now the Red Sox and Cincinnati Reds today as they exchange lineups at the plate. And we send it back downstairs again to Heidi Watney. Heidi?
Hey, Don. Sean Casey played here for 8 years, from 1998 to 2005. He said he was really excited to get to come back here and play, where he had so many great memories.
99, we went to the, we wire to wire. We pretty much were in first place. In the last weekend of the year, we scuffled, and we ended up in a 1-game playoff against the Mets. We won 96 games. We ended up losing. That was just a great year. You know, we weren't supposed to do much, and we did. And that same year, I went to the I represented the Reds at the All-Star game at Fenway Park, you know, with the All-Century team, and that was one of the coolest experiences of my career. So there's so many cool memories of being here with the Reds, and yeah, it was just fun to be back here.
Casey was very excited when Terry Francona gave him the opportunity to start at first on Friday night. He did get a standing ovation when he came to the plate for his first at-bat. Don?
All right, Heidi, thanks very much. Well, you talked about it coming into this series. You got a member of the 500 club and a member of the 600 club going head-to-head in this series. Manny not playing today as he played in the first game of the series and had to come out in the 7th inning. We look at these two careers. An 11-time All-Star for Manny Ramirez, Ken Griffey Jr. 13 times. The hits and the home runs, 505 now for Manny, and Griffey Jr. has been stuck at 600 since he reached that plateau last Tuesday. So combined, they've had almost 10,000 combined total bases between these two tremendous players. And again, Manny Ramirez out of the lineup today for the Red Sox as the Reds take the field here on this beautiful day in Cincinnati as we celebrate Father's Day. And as the Reds take the field, we will check out the visiting Red Sox starting 9. Jacoby Ellsbury leads it off in left field for Boston with Dustin Pedroia at second base. J.D. Drew in right field bats third. Mike Lowell slides into the cleanup spot at third base. Kevin Youkilis at first base with Jason Varitek doing the catching, batting sixth. It's Coco Crisp in center field with Julio Lugo, shortstop, batting eighth. And Josh Beckett, who's a good hitter, is the pitcher today, batting ninth for the Red Sox. And on the mound for the Cincinnati Reds this afternoon is Homer Bailey.
He's only making his 3rd start of the season, a record of 0-2. The losses coming against Philadelphia and last time out against St. Louis. Had a rough time against St. Louis, only lasting 3 2/3 innings, 8 hits allowed and 5 earned runs. He was put in the rotation, replacing Josh Fogg, who was on the disabled list. So Bailey, a guy that was highly regarded in this organization, but yet has not had a lot of good times at the major league level. Last year, kind of a so-so year with the Reds, and this year, of course, starting in the minor leagues and now back in that starting rotation.
The starting pitcher brought to you by Infinity.
The defense this afternoon for the Reds, they're next to last in the National League with 53 errors in 70 games. Edwin Encarnacion, the third baseman. Holbert Cabrera gets a start at shortstop. Brandon Phillips at second and Joey Votto at first. Left to right, Adam Dunn, Jay Bruce, and Ken Griffey Jr. And David Ross, who caught game 1 of this series, catching again this afternoon for Homer Bailey.
Ron Culpez have played for the umpires today. It's Dan Iasanya at first base, Bill Hahn at second base, and Dale Scott is at third. Where available, this telecast can be heard in Spanish by selecting the SAP button on your television remote. Enjoy the game.
Buenas tardes, amigos, and happy Father's Day to all watching today.
We mentioned just a spectacular day here in Cincinnati. The temperature 83 degrees. Out to left field at 7 miles per hour the wind today, and right now no clouds in the sky, nothing but blue skies here at Great American Ballpark in Cincinnati. Now Jacoby Ellsbury makes his way to the plate. Ellsbury starting the day at .282 with 4 homers and 22 runs batted in. Red Sox so far in the month of June are 9-4. Tied with the Cubs and Phillies for the best winning percentage in the majors so far for the month, as Ellsbury takes strike 1 and we're underway.
Red Sox will see the 4 basic pitches from Bailey: the fastball, curveball, slider, and changeup.
0-1 grabs the corner, and Ellsbury is quickly down 0-2. Ellsbury on the ground and through. An 0-2 pitch, and he takes the other way. Puts it between Cabrera and Encarnacion, and Ellsbury's aboard to begin things here in the first inning.
Bad pitch there for Homer Bailey on an 0-2 count. I mean, he gets way ahead of Jacoby Ellsbury, and now comes again with the fastball, and Ellsbury just slaps it between third and short for the base hit. So 2 for 5 in the game yesterday. This hit extends the streak now to 6 straight games.
So lead runner on for the Red Sox here in the first inning, and it brings up Dustin Pedroia. There goes Ellsbury on the first pitch. It is a ball. The throw down is not going to be in time. Oh, stolen base for Jacoby Ellsbury.
Well, when you see a guy like Ellsbury take off on the first pitch, that's because they've done their homework. I mean, they watch this guy on video prior to the ball game. They know he's slow going to the plate, and didn't waste any time at all. Very first pitch, Ellsbury picks up number 32 on the season.
So instantly into scoring position with nobody out here in the first inning. Pedroia showing bunt, pulls back, takes strike 1. Last 2 games, Pedroia 3 for 9. He had been in a really tough stretch at home during the homestand, as the average at .262, 4 homers and 29 runs batted in. Still just 5 for his last 35 as Ellsbury takes off again and again steals a base successfully. So running all over the place here on Homer Bailey at the moment.
And again, Ellsbury doing what he does best. I mean, not a huge lead, but then gets that running lead at second base, and the throw's going to be high by the time that Encarnacion comes down with it. No chance to get to Ellsbury. Well, if he gets on leading off, I mean, he puts immediate pressure on that pitcher.
A new record for Red Sox rookies now at 33 thefts, as this one sent foul off to the right back and out of play. Mentioned coming into the game that he had been tied for the rookie record stolen bases with 31 with Amby McConnell, who set that record back in 1908. Took a long time for somebody to break it. Jacoby Ellsbury has. It's also the most steals by a Red Sox player under the age of 25 since Tris Speaker stole 52 bases back in 1912. So shattering a lot of rookie records. 1-2 off the glove of Ross, doesn't go anywhere, and the count evens at 2-2.
Reds playing back here early in the ball game, willing to give up a run. Only place that Ellsbury would probably not be able to score is a ball back to the pitcher.
So one foul back to the screen. It hangs at 2-2. We mentioned some tough numbers for Pedroia, who's 0 for 16 with runners in scoring position, his last 16. And a chance here to drive in a run in the first with J.D. Drew waiting on deck. Popped up foul, backing out of play. Well, another day, Jerry, in which the Red Sox are without Manny Ramirez. We saw him leave Friday's game in the 7th inning, and have not seen him since, perhaps in a pinch hit role yesterday as he came out on deck. But in a situation now, you don't have him in the starting lineup again today.
No, and you got to wonder what's going to happen when you get to Philadelphia. I mean, if he can't play today, is it going to be that much better tomorrow so he can be in there against the Phillies? We'll have to wait and see.
Popped up foul. Ross coming back towards the screen, but it's back into the seats again, and this lengthy at bat continues for Dustin Pedroia.
Well, all kind of pressure on Homer Bailey early. I mean, Jacoby Ellsbury doing with a base hit and 2 steals, and now a long at bat here by Dustin Pedroia.
Homer Bailey from LaGrange, Texas. Reds first round pick, 7th overall back in 2004. And entered this season as the 2nd ranked prospect in the Reds organization by Baseball America. 2-2 to right field. Ken Griffey Jr. moves over, makes the catch as Ellsbury tags and scores the game's first run. Red Sox lead it 1-0.
Excellent at bat there by Dustin Pedroia. 8-pitch at bat, fouled off a number of pitches, finally got one that he could lift in the air, and no chance at all for Griffey Jr. to make even a throw to home plate. So the top 2 guys doing the job. Ellsbury, the base hit, 2 steals, and then Pedroia with the sacrifice fly. And the Red Sox have the quick 1-0 lead.
1 out, base is empty now for J.D. Drew. J.D. starting the day hitting at .320 with 10 homers and 37 runs batted in. Batting average good for 5th in the American League to start the day, with Milton Bradley in the top spot hitting at .330, setting the pace in the American League.
Red Sox with 2 members now in the top 10. J.D. Drew, Kevin Youkilis making his way back there at .307.
Well, a big home run yesterday for Youkilis in his hometown of Cincinnati in front of friends and family as J.D. works the walk. First one given up by Homer Bailey today.
Now, Bailey's had control problems in his first 2 starts. He had 4 walks in his first start against Philadelphia, 3 in 3 2/3 innings in his last start against St. Louis.
It's a visit from his battery mate David Ross. Well, the Red Sox had plenty of hits yesterday, 13 hits in the game. It's only the 2nd time in the last 9 games the Red Sox have been in double figures in hits. As Mike Lowell stands in now in the cleanup spot today in the absence of Manny Ramirez. Terry Francona has been fielding a lot of the same questions day in and day out, and today, of course, questions about Manny Ramirez. Questions also about Hideki Okajima. Seems like that has become a daily conversation now after some tough outings for Okajima. And I guess the questions really surrounding whether his confidence is wavering at all in a guy that he was highly confident in last season.
Well, that confidence level to me is down a little bit from the manager. If you read between the lines and listen to what he's saying, you know, he's mentioning some of the flaws that are going on right now with Okajima. The fact that his splitter is not dipping like it did a year ago. It's more like a straight changeup, because his velocity is only at 88 miles an hour, and then the off-speed pitch is about 83. So if it's not, doesn't have any movement on it down, it's not that effective.
Oh, the swing and a miss, and the count evens up at 2-2. J.D. Drew at first base. Red Sox already on top 1-0 today. This one fouled off to the right, and it hangs at 2-2.
Yeah, Bailey's thrown a couple of changeups so far that have not been good ones at all. They have been up around letter high. One to Pedroia, and that last one to Mike Lowell.
Bailey last year with the Reds saw action at 3 different levels, but with Cincinnati he was 4-2 in 9 starts. On the ground towards shortstop, Holbert Cabrera to second for 1, on to first. The double play that ends the first, but the Red Sox get a run. The Reds coming up. Bottom of the first inning back in Cincinnati. The Red Sox lead it 1-0 as the Reds come up. Their lineup is brought to you by Rico. Jay Bruce at the top of the order and in center field with Holbert Cabrera at shortstop. Ken Griffey Jr. in right field bats third. Brandon Phillips at second base in the cleanup spot. Adam Dunn in left. Edwin Encarnacion at third base with Joey Votto at first base. David Ross does the catching, batting eighth, and the pitcher Homer Bailey bats ninth. On the mound today for the Red Sox, their ace Josh Beckett. And Beckett ready to deal with Jay Bruce, who taps one foul.
This will be the 13th start of the season for Beckett. He is 6-4, 4.22 ERA. Very few walks, only 15 walks in 79 innings, 83 strikeouts. Last time a no decision. He left the game against Baltimore with a lead, but the bullpen couldn't hold on. Last time he faced the Reds was a long time ago, 2004, May 25th of 2004.
Swings of the 0-2 and strikes out. So Beckett strikes out Jay Bruce to start his afternoon.
That's a good sign right off the bat. The curveball for the strikeout for Josh Beckett. There have been games where his curveball this year has not been all that effective, but certainly it is the case there. I think he threw him all three pitches: his fastball, his changeup, and his curveball, and that at bat. The Red Sox defense will have Mike Lowell at third base, Julio Lugo the shortstop, Dustin Pedroia at second, and Kevin Youkilis at first. Left to right, Jacoby Ellsbury, Coco Crisp, and J.D. Drew, and Jason Varitek doing the catching.
Holbert Cabrera turns and cranks this foul back into the seats. And of course, is the brother of Orlando Cabrera. Is it shortstop for the Red Sox in the 04 championship? Is Holbert Cabrera and his brother at one time played in the same infield as members of the Montreal Expos. But Cabrera now playing at shortstop today as he gets the start in this final game of the series. Up the middle and into center field out of the reach of Lugo. Cabrera as a one-out single, first base runner of the day for the Reds.
Yeah, trying to change things up a little bit. They've had Giannis in there for the first two games of this series, and he has not had a very good time offensively. So Cabrera comes in today, gets a Beckett fastball, and shoots it up the middle for the base hit. He had a base hit pinch hitting yesterday in the ball game.
So one out, one on, and it brings up Ken Griffey Jr. He was hitless in his last 10 at bats, a .248 average, 7 homers, and 30 runs batted in. It's in the midst of his 20th major league season and his 9th season in Cincinnati. He's now the longest tenured Reds player. Pitch for a strike. The key matchup is brought to you by Acura. And against Josh Beckett, he's 1 for 3. He's got a home run and 3 RBIs.
Only 3 players in this Cincinnati lineup have faced Josh Beckett: Cabrera, Griffey, and Dunn.
Cabrera, the good size lead at first. Youkilis holds him on. Pitch inside, ball 1, 1-1.
Shift down in the infield for Griffey. That makes Lowell kind of a pivot man if there's a ground ball to Lugo, who is now at second base.
Ken Griffey Jr. getting his 600th home run. Last Monday off Mark Hendrickson at Florida against the Marlins. He is 6th now on the all-time list. Takes the 1-1 for ball 2, and it's 2-1 now to Griffey Jr. It's been a pretty frustrating year so far for the Reds, who find themselves in last place at 33 and 37, and some wonder whether Ken Griffey Jr. will be moving along. Of course, he has a no trade contract, a clause in his contract which he can void any contract the Reds may make, any kind of trade that they may attempt to make. But it sounds like he is willing to listen. It'll be interesting to see where he may end up as we get closer to the trade deadline later this summer.
Well, at that stage of your career, obviously you want to go to a winning ball club, a chance that has to go to the playoffs, and Griffey may find that opportunity as a DH somewhere in the American League.
Fouls it off himself, and the count hangs at 2-2.
Right off the shin of Ken Griffey, Beckett fielded the ball and spun to throw to second base just in case. Trying to get a double play.
1 out, 1 on. Ken Griffey Jr. a lengthy at bat here against Josh Beckett in the first. In the dirt and a full count.
I was watching the scoreboard. I was wondering why people were clapping. They put a noise sign up there, and as soon as the noise sign goes off, people just get quiet again. It's like a tennis match.
They're pretty good on cue, but after that, that's it.
Yeah, it was like, you know, be quiet. I've got to serve now.
Pitch 7 of the at bat. On the ground up the middle. Lugo will touch second and fire to first, and it gets by Youkilis. Ends up in the Reds dugout. They'll give second base to Ken Griffey Jr. Had to make a tough play. They were in the shift, and he ran over from the second base side to tag the bag himself. And then an errant throw to first base gets by Youkilis. So 2 down.
That cuts the runner off at first base, and that makes Lugo rush to the bag. He gets there, he makes the tag with the runner on top of him. He has to jump, then he bounces it, and it gets by Youkilis into the dugout. Griffey goes to second base, so that'll go as another error on Julio Lugo, his 14th of the season.
So 2 down, Ken Griffey Jr. at second base, and here's Brandon Phillips. Phillips in that cleanup spot for the Reds. And it's outside, ball 1.
You know, because that runner was off, Lugo had to rush the bag, but he also had time to run across the bag, get out of the way of the runner, because Griffey does not run well anymore. And he had plenty of time to turn that ball over. Instead, he tagged the bag, jumped, and that caused the 1 bounce to first base. One more look at that double play. Now watch Lugo go to the bag. If he just tags it and goes across the bag, he'll clear himself for that base runner. Instead, he tries to, you know, tag the bag and make the throw at the same time, and that causes that bounce to first base. You see how much time he had. Griffey was not even close to first base. So he rushed when he really didn't have to.
So instead, you now have a Reds player in scoring position, and Griffey Jr. at second. Brandon Phillips waiting on a 1-1. And a pitch outside, 2-1. His last 11 games, Phillips is hitting at just 174. The average dropping down from 287 to 268, where it currently sits. The strike, and the count evens at 2-2. Beckett's been pretty deliberate today with men on base. And Bruce to strike out. Cabrera's single, able to force him out at second base. Griffey reaching was on the throwing error from Lugo. Now stands at second base, 2 down. Red Sox on top, 1-0. Ball 3 and a full count. Well, 113 pitches last time out for Beckett. It was not his season high. High is 118. He did that at Baltimore in a no decision, but a 6-inning effort last time and left for the lead. Red Sox were on top 6-4 before the bullpen really kind of blew up. In the dirt outside. Did he go? No. This is first base umpire Dan Iasanya. And it's base on balls number 1 allowed by Josh Beckett. Jerry, you highlighted not a lot of walks for Beckett, but a walk here.
Yeah, only his what 16th of the season for Josh Beckett. But with, you know, they should have had a double play, Don, to get out of this inning, and that would have saved him all these extra pitches that he's throwing right now.
So 2 on, 2 down, and Adam Dunn the batter. Dunn leads the majors in walks with 58. There was 18 homers, 43 runs batted in, and a .233 batting average. Leads the team in home runs and in RBIs. As now Varitek's going to head out and talk to Beckett.
2 sick guys back in the lineup today. Jason Varitek, who had battled that strep throat, back behind the plate, and of course Lugo missed yesterday's game with a bad stomach.
The league leaders are brought to you by Olympia Sports. And home runs, Reds all time. Johnny Bench, the Hall of Famer at 389. With a couple of Hall of Famers between Adam Dunn and the top spot, Frank Robinson and Tony Perez. That cranks it foul down just beyond the Reds dugout. Griffey at second base, Phillips at first base, 2 down in the Cincinnati first inning. Done on a check swing on a ball in the dirt, did not go, says Dale Scott. And the count evens up at a ball and a strike. There's a strike and the count 1-2. A breaking ball from Beckett.
Yeah, quite a few curveballs here in the first inning for Josh Beckett. Opening batter Bruce, striking him out on a curveball, and jumps ahead in the count here with a breaking ball to Dunn.
In the dirt, and the count evens up at 2-2.
Tries another one. A lot of them have been, you know, not in the strike zone, but they have not been chasing him. Breaking ball that probably never was a strike, but Dunn not helping out by chasing the bad pitch. Varitek again has to block it. Another ball in the dirt. So struggling first inning for both pitches.
Red Sox on top 1-0. The Reds threatening here with runners at first and second, 2 down in the inning, and a 2-2 to Adam Dunn. Framed by Varitek, but it's ball 3 according to Ron Kulpa. It's a full count.
Now the first 2 games there have been very generous strike zones for pitches, and not the case so far this afternoon from Kulpa.
Oh, it looked like he came back across to the corner.
It did.
This time he strikes out. The call, third strike from Ron Kulpa. 2 strikeouts in the inning for Beckett. The Reds strand 2. It's 1-0 Boston.
Well, hello to Mom and Dad back in Boston.
1-0 Red Sox on top as we head to the top half of the second inning. Kevin Youkilis in his return to Cincinnati. He calls home. A big home run yesterday for Youkilis as the Red Sox went back-to-back. His 7th 3-hit game of the season and his 3 for 5 in the series against the Reds.
And of course the big home run yesterday as the Red Sox win this thing in extra innings. It didn't take very long. Youkilis followed by Coco Crisp and the Youkilis clan all very happy over that home run. 3 hits for Kevin. He's got 25 multiple hit games now on the season. Josh Hamilton leads the American League with 29.
Three and 1 to Youkilis. He was 3 for 5 in the series, 6 for his last 9. The batting average back up to .307 now. He lifts a high fly ball to left field. Adam Dunn makes the catch for the first out here, the second inning. Let's check back in with Heidi Watney. Heidi.
Well, Don, as you guys were just saying, the Cincinnati native Kevin Youkilis had about 130 family and friends here last night. They all witnessed that 10th inning go-ahead homer, and Youkilis said that was a pretty special moment.
It's a very exciting thing and a great experience in my life to be able to say I came to Cincinnati and hit a home run here in Cincinnati at a professional level, because I've never played here at the professional level. So it's very exciting, and I've had a lot of great things so far in my career as a Red Sox, and it just adds on a little bit.
Youkilis is a University of Cincinnati Bearcat graduate, a 2-time All-American there. Even his former coach was here yesterday to watch. He also said it was pretty special to be here with his dad on Father's Day. Don?
That's great. Thank you very much. It is very special for him to be back here, certainly on Father's Day as well. We've met the Youkilis family many times. Of course, they get to Fenway Park quite a bit. They're wonderful people, and Kevin Youkilis glad to be back home here, putting on a show for friends and family in this weekend series. Jason Varitek in his return to the Red Sox lineup. Down in the count 1-2. He's missed the last 3 games battling strep throat. And prior to that had been just 3 for his last 19. The second time he's had to battle illness this year to cause him to miss games. The first time, of course, when the flu made its way through the Red Sox clubhouse and virtually everybody got it over the course of a month to begin the season.
Yeah, it's kind of strange. I mean, generally you go through a season where you get knocked down and some kind of bug and it knocks you out at least once, but Varitek's now had it a couple of times this season, now with the strep throat.
Popped up foul, backing out of play. And the full count remains to Jason Varitek. And be followed by Coco Crisp as the Red Sox bat here in the second inning. Close pitch, but ball 4, and down to first base goes Varitek. Second walk given up by Homer Bailey.
Want to work for the Red Sox? Try out for the intern presented by the Boston Globe and Boston.com. You'll work at Fenway Park and get a behind-the-scenes look at the Red Sox organization. To learn how to apply and for official rules, go to redsox.com/intern.
Red Sox on top 1-0 as they bat in the top half of the second inning. 1 out, 1 on. And Coco Crisp, the batter, as he takes ball 1. Coco at .252 with 3 homers and 16 runs batted in. Had a big home run yesterday as well as part of the Red Sox attack in extra innings against the Reds. Carves it foul off to the left, and this was followed up after the Youkilis home run to break the tie game. 3rd home run of the year for Coco Crisp. Youkilis had just arrived back in the dugout when that ball went out. Pretty good numbers in a short sample, 14 games against the Reds, but he enjoys this series as he bats here with 1 out and 1 on. Today marks the 44th game that Crisp has started in center field for the Red Sox this season, of a possible 72. You know, the injuries that have taken place in the outfield and everything that has worked out there, I'm relatively surprised, as is Coco Crisp, that he's got that many starts during the course of the season with Ellsbury. And it seems like the breakdown's been pretty good and everybody's been kept pretty happy, and largely because of the injuries, they've needed him.
Well, it seemed so cut and dry in spring training that, yes, they were going to trade Coco Crisp, but it's proven to be that they've really needed Coco Crisp.
Seen the average drop lately. He was hitting at 315 at the high water mark. He's down to 252. Over the last 9 games, hitting at 179. This one laced down the right field line, a foul ball just outside the line.
Good look from right down that Red Sox dugout side. You could see the ball hooking, foul. Very good look at it for Ayasanya, the first base umpire.
Well, the Red Sox got the game's only run in the first inning. Ellsbury stole 2 bases after singling, and then driven in on the sacrifice fly by Dustin Pedroia. Now Coco drives one to deep right field down the line as Griffey Jr. looks up. A long home run for Coco Crisp. His second home run in 2 days. It's a 2-run shot and a 3-0 Boston lead.
Well, Coco over the last couple of days showing some unusual power. We showed you the highlight of his home run back-to-back with Youkilis. Now he gets the fastball middle in and takes it out of those bleacher seats out in right field. Tell you what, from what I've seen of Homer Bailey so far, I don't know what his best pitch is, if he has one. It's basically fastballs about 90. We've seen a couple of high change-ups. Not many breaking balls at all.
Well, we told you the numbers coming in. They've not been good. This is only his 3rd start. He comes in at 0-2. The 6.30 earned run average, and has not had a very good day so far today.
Yeah, we finally see a curveball to Julio Lugo.
Ahead of Lugo, 0-2. Lugo batting in the 8th spot with Beckett waiting on deck. Scratch from the lineup yesterday with an upset stomach. Was in the original starting lineup, but was taken out just prior to game time. He's hit at just 188 over the last 17 games. And seeing that average drop from 295 down to 268. A long time in between RBIs. Had one on Thursday in the final game of the homestand for the Red Sox, and that was his first RBI since May the 22nd, a 16-game drought, which matched the longest of his career in between RBIs.
That's the one thing about last year. Lugo, even though the average wasn't real high, he was driving in a lot of runs. There were opportunities out there for him to drive in runs. He was getting it done. This year, only the 14 coming into the game today.
1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 out, as Lugo sends it foul off to the right back and out of play. I thought you did a great job yesterday. Did you enjoy the experience? Fox Baseball yesterday afternoon?
Yeah, we had a good game to do. There was plenty going on in the game, that's for sure. It was an exciting game to do, and nice afternoon here in Cincinnati.
Lugo lifts a fly ball to center. Jay Bruce started back, now he's got to come in. He recovers and makes the catch, 2 down. So 2 outs, and here comes Josh Beckett, who is, we know from past experience, is a pretty good hitter. He hit a home run in the Red Sox uniform in Philadelphia. And look at his numbers in 205 at bats. Takes the 1-0 for a strike, and it's 1-1. Red Sox on top 3-0 for Beckett. There's a 2-run shot this inning for Coco Crisp. A strike, and it's 1-2. Beckett was headed towards the dugout. He thought it was strike 3.
Yeah, you get 3 strikes in this league. At least the last I've heard about it, it was 3 strikes.
Breaking ball, and it's lined to second. Phillips with the grab that ends the inning. A 2-run shot for Coco Crisp, a 3-0 Red Sox lead after an inning and a half.
Tonight at 8, Charlie Moore sneaks backstage to meet one of his favorite bands, Leonard Skinner, and invites them to go fishing. They head to Florida's famed Bainville Plantation for huge fish, great conversation, and classic rock. It's all tonight at 8 on Charlie Moore Outdoors.
Again, a very happy Father's Day to all the dads out there as we head to the bottom of the second inning. 3-0. Red Sox on top. For Josh Beckett, had to throw 24 first inning pitches. Edwin Encarnacion leads it off. Yesterday was the hero for a moment as he was able to tie the game up on a home run. This time drives one to left field. Ellsbury is back there. And Jacoby makes the catch for the first out of the bottom of the second inning.
Well, he got a flat split-fingered fastball from Papelbon yesterday and takes it out of the ballpark. That split just did absolutely nothing for Papelbon, and Encarnacion did not miss it. They tied the ball game, and you know everything looked bad for the Red Sox at that point, but then very quickly they struck back with the 2 home runs.
There's Joey Votto with 1 out in the inning. Votto at 266. 11 homers and 36 runs batted in. Strike from Beckett. He was ahead quickly, 0-2. Votto now in his second season with the Reds, got in 24 games last year. To right center and in for a hit. This one will split the gap to the track and the wall as it's run down back there by J.D. Drew, but not before Joey Votto stands at second base with a 1-out double.
Now Beckett quickly got ahead with a couple of fastballs. He wanted to try to bounce a curveball, but he didn't bounce it. It's going to stay about knee high, and Votto goes in the gap with the double. Before that pitch, you can see Veritek when he was putting the sign down. They wanted the curveball, and he's patted the dirt. He wanted it down in the dirt. Beckett could not get it there, and Votto picks up the double.
1 out Votto at second base. Here's David Ross, the catcher. The 31-year-old came over from the San Diego Padres as he takes strike 1. He's been in the big leagues with the Dodgers. That's where he's seen the most time from 2002 through 04. Time with the Pirates, the Padres, and now in his 3rd season with the Cincinnati Reds. In there for a strike, and it's 0-2. This with the College World Series going on. David Ross, a little experience in that regard. Attended Auburn University and was a member of the 1997 Tigers team that went to the College World Series. Ross takes ball 1, and it's 1-2. The pitcher Homer Bailey waiting on deck.
This is a very deliberate pace this afternoon for Josh Beckett.
Outside, the count evens at 2-2. Well, in this league, you certainly approach the number 8 hitter a little bit differently than you do in the American League, with the pitcher waiting on deck, Homer Bailey. Outside, full count. Had been ahead 0-2, but it's 3-2 now. Beckett had to throw 24 first inning pitches. 2 strikeouts, and the Reds left 2 men on. Here, the first out of the inning. Joey Votto with a double stands at second base, and it's a full count to David Ross, the catcher. Outside, ball 4. It's the second walk of the day given up by Beckett. So he walks the number 8 man, and the pitcher coming up, Homer Bailey.
You want to find out what the Bruins have planned for the upcoming NHL draft? Visit the NESN.com playground tomorrow at noon to chat live with GM Peter Chiarelli. He'll be taking your questions live at noon tomorrow, only at the all-new NESN.com.
Well, 2-on-1 away. You'll see Bailey be bunting here to move the runners over. And he is squaring as Beckett looks out at second and pops it up foul, backing out of play.
Not a bad idea. Try at first pitch a high fastball to see if you can get him to chase it and pop it up. He did pop it up, but deep enough for nobody could get him to make a play on it.
He's 0 for 3 as a hitter so far this season. Josh Beckett has been getting ahead. He's 8 out of 9 in first pitch strikes so far. Take a long time in between pitches. Outside, and it's a ball and a strike. Beckett with a walk in the first, a walk here in the second inning. He has struck out 2 and given up 2 hits. Votto at second base, Ross at first base, 1 out here in the Reds' second inning. Bunted foul, and he was unable to get it down. It's now 1-2.
Now we'll see if they keep the bunt on with the 2 strikes on Bailey. Not a bad bunting position. He has the bat at the top of the strike zone. The problem is he chases a bad pitch. That ball was inside and bunts it straight down on the ground. Red Sox still expecting the bunt with 2 strikes.
He is squaring. Now pulls it back and swings away and strikes out. Third strikeout for Josh Beckett, 2 down.
If that's the kind of effort you're going to get on a fake bunt with 2 strikes, you might as well go ahead and try to bunt him with 2 strikes.
So first and second, 2 down, back up top for Jay Bruce, who struck out swinging in the first inning. Swing and a miss with a 21-year-old Jay Bruce. Last year spending time Sarasota, Chattanooga, and Louisville. A-ball, AA, and AAA. Reds first round pick, 12th overall back in 2005. Bruce pops it up. Pedroia drifting to the outfield grass, and he puts it away. The Reds strand a pair for the second straight inning. It's 3-0 Red Sox after 2.
Tomorrow at 5:30, the Sox continue their interleague play with a visit to the Philadelphia Phillies. We're supersizing our coverage with Red Sox Monster Monday presented by BMW of Peabody. We'll catch up with Phillies broadcast from former Red Sox pitcher Larry Anderson and take you inside the Hall of Fame exhibit at the Museum of Science. It's all tomorrow at 5:30 before the Sox take on the Phillies. Your bigger weekends are only on NESN.
It's 3-0 Red Sox on top as we head to the top half of the third inning. Jacoby Ellsbury, Dustin Pedroia, and J.D. Drew to face Homer Bailey. As we're here at the Great American Ballpark in Cincinnati, Ohio, Don Orsillo, Jerry Remy, and Heidi Watney bringing you Boston Red Sox baseball in high definition on NESN. Red Sox got a run on a sacrifice fly by Dustin Pedroia in the first inning. Then a 2-run home run from Coco Crisp in the second. It's 3-0 Boston. As not only did Jacoby Ellsbury get a single in his first at bat, he also stole 2 bases. Bailey's had to throw already 54 pitches in his outings. He works to the first batter of the third inning.
That's the best changeup he's thrown so far this afternoon. At least he kept it down in the zone.
This is up and deep to right field. Ken Griffey Jr. looks up. It's gone. Jacoby Ellsbury's gone deep for the 5th time this year. It's the second home run of the day for the Red Sox and a 4-0 Boston lead.
Well, that's one way to keep him from stealing bases. Let him hit a home run. Another bad pitch by Bailey. He just hangs a breaking ball. He's ahead of Jacoby Ellsbury 0-2. The hanging breaking ball right there, and Ellsbury hits number 5 on the season. I'll tell you what, we don't see a lot of games here, but there must be some majestic shots that go out toward that portion of the field out there in right field.
Pedroia was swinging for one that time, and it ends up in left field, and Adam Dunn is there for the first out of the inning.
I mean, I haven't seen a lot of games here. The crew must know, but there's had to have been balls that have been hit over those seats, I would think, in that bleachers section.
Coco Crisp had a pretty good poke up to right field, and there's one away here in the third inning. J.D. Drew coming up. He sends one to right. Ken Griffey Jr. turns around and watches that leave. A line drive home run for J.D. Drew. It's flying out of here today. Drew's 11th home run of the year, 3rd Boston home run today, and it's 5-0 Sox.
I mean, that's just a line drive. A very short fence out there, not very deep at all. A line shot by J.D. Drew that takes no time to get into the bleachers section. Not quite sure what the pitch was. It looked like it might have been a changeup.
Rick Paul, the pitching coach, coming out is Homer Bailey. He's given up 2 solo home runs here in the third inning. The Red Sox aren't waiting around either. There are a lot of first pitch swinging here against Bailey with success.
Take a look at the 2 pitches that have turned into home runs. First, Jacoby Ellsbury gets a breaking ball. It did not stay down. It stayed just in a perfect spot to hit. And Ellsbury with the fly ball home run. Now, J.D. Drew, I think, was supposed to be a changeup away, but stays out over the plate. And he one-hands it on the line into the bleacher area in right field. So Drew now with 11 home runs, picks up his 38th RBI.
1 out, base is empty for Mike Lowell. Mike grounded into a 6-4-3 double play in the first inning. Well, it's the 12th major league start today for Homer Bailey. He's called up on June 5th, promoted from Louisville.
Now, if he keeps pitching the way he did in his last start and this start, he's not going to be around in this rotation very long. Left-handed action in the bullpen, Jeremy Affel.
Another case today where he's gotten virtually no run support too. He's got his own problems, of course, in his first 2 outings, giving up a bunch of runs, but the first 2 outings only got 1 run from his offense. So far today, none. And a walk to Mike Lowell, third base on balls given up by Homer Bailey. Jeremy Affeld, who we'd seen in the past with the Kansas City Royals, up in the pen for the Reds. And the catcher David Ross out to talk to Bailey, who's given up 2 home runs, a walk in the inning. The only out, a fly out to left field by Dustin Pedroia.
Yeah, those coming from instructions from the dugout. Dusty Baker telling his catcher to go out there, talk to him, kill some more time till Affeld can get ready. It looks like Dusty's getting ready to make his move.
And here he comes. Dusty Baker enjoying his 59th birthday today. Well, maybe not enjoying, as he is down 5-0, but it is his 59th birthday today, and he'll make the pitching change as Homer Bailey's day is done, and a rough day at that. As in 2 1/3 innings, gives up 5 runs so far, responsible for Mike Lowell, who's at first base. And the pitching change from Cincinnati with the Red Sox on top 5-0. 5-0 Red Sox on top, and it's time now for the Kawasaki moment. Of course, Kevin Youkilis returning to his hometown of Cincinnati yesterday, and the home run for the Red Sox put him on top, and eventually the game winner as in the 10th inning, Red Sox come away with the win. This moment is brought to you by Kawasaki. Let the good times roll. He'll be coming up here against the new pitcher as this call to the bullpen is brought to you by your New England Ford dealers. The new pitcher is Jeremy Affel.
He has the most appearances on this staff for the Cincinnati Reds, among the National League leaders in appearances, number 35 on the season for him. Last year with the Colorado Rockies, he pitched in all 4 games in the World Series against the Red Sox and didn't allow a run in a total of 3 innings in the World Series.
His first 5 years in the majors spent with the Kansas City Royals. It was actually their closer for a time back in 2004. Had 13 saves for the Royals out of the pen. Youkilis fly to left first time up. He bats with Mike Lowell at first base, 1 down. And a pitch inside, and it's 1-1. He had a total of 75 appearances out of the pen last year for the Rockies, a 3.51 earned run average. Ended up pitching in 59 innings. And originally a 3rd round pick by Kansas City back in 1997. Youkilis tries to hold up and does successfully. It's a ball, and it's 2-1. Well, Homer Bailey ineffective here today in just 2 1/3 innings. Allows 4 hits and so far 5 runs. He walked 3 and did not strike anybody out. And is still responsible for Mike Lowell, who's at first base, as he thinks it over in his 3rd straight Rocky start. Came in at 0-2 with a 6.30. And things not improving for him today. Ball 3, and it's a full count. Mike Lowell at first base, 1 away here in the Boston 3rd inning. Youkilis strikes out. First strikeout of the day for Reds pitching in the first batter that Affel faces. 2 down.
Affel goes down and inside against Kevin Youkilis. Fastball down and in for the strikeout. Youkilis had struck out in his first 2 at-bats yesterday and then followed up with 3 hits, including the home run.
Two down now for Jason Varitek, who walked in his only at bat today in the 2nd inning. Came around to score on the 2-run home run by Coco Crisp. And strike 1. Jerry, today is not only Dusty Baker's birthday, but also our friend, Red Sox Vice President of Media Relations, John Blake, enjoying a birthday today. So happy birthday to John.
What's John just turned 35?
Again.
A lot of birthdays today. Let's hope for that on his birthday. Everything still remains quiet. You never know. You know, when you're with the Red Sox, things could explode at any moment. You have all kind of issues. And let's hope he has a nice, quiet birthday.
Well, Coco Crisp waiting on deck with 2 outs here in the 3rd inning. Varitek appeared to go around, and he did, says Ron Culpa, the home plate umpire. Red Sox so far 4-1 in interleague play so far in 2008. Of course, they swept the Milwaukee Brewers at Fenway Park earlier this season. And a win and a loss here so far, actually backwards, a loss and a win so far in this series against the Reds. 32-9 in interleague play since the start of 2006, ties the Tigers for the best winning percentage in the majors during that time. Cabrera at short will go the easy way to second base to end things here in the top of the 3rd, but home runs for Ellsbury and Drew. It's a 5-0 Red Sox lead.
Standing room at Fenway Park just got better. Take a tour of the ballpark, have your own private viewing of batting practice from the Monster, then watch the game from the brand new Coca-Cola deck. The deal includes food vouchers as well. Tickets start at just $60. Call the Tours hotline at 617-226-6666 for more information.
The home runs for the Red Sox in the top half of the 3rd inning. Jacoby Ellsbury and J.D. Drew, both solo shots. Add that to the 2-run home run for Coco Crisp in the 2nd. It's a 5-0 Red Sox lead for Josh Beckett. Into the bottom of the 3rd inning, Hobert Cabrera leading it off. He singled to center field his first time up. One of 2 hits today for Cincinnati off Josh Beckett. Talked many times about the Red Sox not playing here in Cincinnati since games 3, 4, and 5 of the 1975 World Series. Red Sox lost game 3 6-5 in 10 innings. For Louis Tion earned a 5-4 complete game win in game 4. And the Reds were 6-2 victors in game 5 as Cabrera strikes out. 4 Ks on the day now for Beckett, 1 down.
2 strikeouts on curveballs for Josh Beckett. That strikeout on a curveball. 2 strikeouts on fastballs for Beckett for his total of 4.
One down for Ken Griffey Jr. If he reached on fielder's choice, took second on the throwing error from Julio Lugo. Only miscue of the game for either side. The 1-0 is outside. It's 2-0. Think back to Julio Lugo's errors, and it seems that the majority, if not all, are throwing errors for the most part.
I'd say about 80% of them throwing errors. And that's something they have continued to work very hard on, his footwork. He got that squared away a little bit last season, but having some difficulties here in 2008.
Just when you think he's turned some sort of corner as far as that goes from a mental standpoint, he will mix another one in. He's had a couple over the last few games, and 14 errors now to lead Major League shortstops. As this one is in the air, the shallow left, backpedaling his lull with the shift on, and Mike puts it away, 2 down. Well, his player profile is actually a manager's profile. It's brought to you by Sovereign Bank, the official bank of the Red Sox cable network. And Terry Francona moving past Jimmy Williams on the last homestand, now 418 wins. Joe Cronin, of course, on top with better than 1,000. Up next is Jimmy Collins at 455, but Terry Francona's got 2 world championships. And he'll be returning to a place that he is not always welcome, and had certainly a very tough 4 years at the helm of the Philadelphia Phillies. He said they were probably going to plan a parade for his return.
Well, he can always go back now as a manager of a world championship, you know, done twice. So Francona has nothing to be ashamed of going back to Philadelphia, where quite frankly he had some terrible teams.
He was asked today what the biggest difference was here, and he said he has good players here. They had some good position players at times in Philadelphia. But not much pitching. This one to left, right at Ellsbury. Hooking away from him as he makes the grab that ends the inning. So 1-2-3 third and 5-0. Red Sox lead from Cincinnati.
Picnic in the Park, which benefits the Red Sox Foundation, will be Sunday, June 22nd at Fenway Park immediately after the game. Take part in the half-hour autograph session with Red Sox players, coaches, and manager. Eat in the outfield and have a chance to bid on one-of-a-kind items donated by the Red Sox players and their wives. For tickets, visit redsox.com.
And our friend Mike O'Malley, Hampshire native, will be there to MC that event. We look forward to that. Always a fantastic event. 5-0. The Red Sox on top as we head to the top half of the 4th inning on this Father's Day. Son and dad enjoying the ball game here today in Cincinnati on what has been a picture-perfect day from Great American Ballpark. As we move to the top half of the 4th inning, bottom third, Crisp, Lugo, and Beckett. Jeremy Affel coming on last inning to try to clean up the mess a bit. After the starter today for the Reds, Homer Bailey, gave up 5 runs in 2 1/3 innings.
And 4 of the 5 of those runs coming on home runs.
And Coco's got 1 of them. He's now got 4 on the season, 2 in the series. Coco last year with the Red Sox had 6 home runs, 8 in his first year in a Boston uniform, and that has been the one thing that has been down for him since he has been in a Red Sox uniform. In his last 2 seasons in Cleveland, he was in double figures on 2 occasions. He had 15 homers in 04, 16 homers in 05. Not seeing that kind of power from Coco in his now 3 seasons with the Red Sox.
Well, today back in the 2nd inning, he gets a fastball middle in, and it's pretty well up in those bleachers in right field. 2-run home run, his 4th of the year. RBIs 17 and 18.
Waves at that pitch, and Affeld strikes him out. 2nd strikeout for Jeremy Affeld.
Breaking ball down and in to Coco Crisp. As a right-handed hitter this year, Crisp at 290, left-handed 242.
One down for Lugo. Flied out to center field first time up. As mentioned, the Red Sox headed to Philadelphia after the ball game today. We'll see Bartolo Colon match up against Cole Hamels, a left-hander, in tomorrow night's action. Then John Lester against the ageless wonder Jamie Moyer, who's 7-3 for the Philadelphia Phillies this year and pitching very well. A couple of young pitchers going head-to-head in the day game on Wednesday. Justin Masterson will be matched up against Kyle Kendrick, who is 6-2. And you go from facing a Cincinnati Reds team who is last to a very good Philadelphia Phillies squad. Right now atop the National League East, a 4-game lead over the Florida Marlins, and they're playing good baseball for Charlie Manuel. Bartolo 4-1 heading into tomorrow night's action. Lugo sprays it foul and is down on the count 1-2. One thing the Red Sox has had so far has been great success against the Phillies since 2004. Boston is 10-2 against the Phillies and 5-1 the Phillies home park of Citizens Bank Park. This is lined and just out of the reach of the diving second baseman Brandon Phillips. A 1-out single for Julio Lugo.
Now Lugo, who had only 9 for his last 49, hitting under 180, picks up the base hit there. He got a breaking ball, a nice effort at second base by Brandon Phillips. He can't come up with it, and Lugo has the base hit. Lugo scratched from the lineup yesterday with a bad stomach. Alex Cora getting the start at shortstop.
Beckett gets the bunt down front of the plate. Affeld grabs it and fires to first to retire Beckett. The sacrifice goes 1-4 with Phillips covering the bag and Lugo in a scoring position with 2 down.
Well done by Josh Beckett. Beckett squaring around early, a good angle to the bat to get the barrel of the bat on top of the baseball and get it on the ground.
2 outs. Lugo at second base. Top of the order, Jacoby Ellsbury's had a fantastic day. He's 2 for 2, a single, a home run, and 2 stolen bases. He takes strike 1 from Affeld. Now, one thing we'll be looking for tomorrow as well, Daisuke Matsuzaka, of course, sent to Pawtucket on a rehab assignment. On Monday, he'll start at Lehigh Valley, the Philadelphia Phillies AAA squad, in Allentown, Pennsylvania tomorrow. This is lined to left, hooking away from Dunn, who makes the grab on the run to end the inning. Lugo left at second, 3.5 into this one. It's 5-0 Boston. Boston Red Sox baseball on NESN is brought to you by Hess, always the place for extra big deals and extra big savings. We head to the last half of the 4th inning. Adam Dunn leading it off against Josh Beckett. It's 5-0 Red Sox on top as Dunn sends one foul off to the left, backing out of play. Adam Dunn, Edwin Encarnacion, and Joey Votto to bat here in the bottom of the 4th inning. So a tap foul over by the Reds dugout, and it's 0-2. Edwin Encarnacion waiting on deck as the Reds bat in the bottom of the 4th. Take swing in the dirt. Over 50 pitches now for Beckett as he works to the first batter here in the bottom of the 4th inning. Strike 3 call. Josh picks up his 5th strikeout of the day. Second time he's got Adam Dunn.
And a second time he's got Dunn on a fastball. Fastball tailing up and away from Adam Dunn. Last time out, Beckett only had 3 strikeouts in 6 innings against Baltimore. Already the 5 in the ball game this afternoon. Strikeout high in the season, of course. 13 did that in his 4th start of the year against Tampa Bay.
Yeah, that strikeout low last time, the 3 you mentioned, that is the least amount of strikeouts he's had in any outing this season, and a long time before that. Of course, 2 games of 10 or more strikeouts. 13 against Tampa Bay in the loss, and 10 at Baltimore in a no decision. So far 5 strikeouts today. He's now retired the last 6 batters in a row.
Beckett started today, as you see, the strikeout lead is now with 88. Started today with 83. Javier Vazquez of the White Sox leading the American League with 90. Sabathia, Holiday, A.J. Burnett.
The White Sox have had a very good start to their season, despite some comments from time to time from Ozzie Guillen that always keeps things light. But the White Sox are 38-30. They got a 4.5 game lead atop the American League Central. And the Tigers are starting to come around as the season moves along. You knew they would at some point. They've won 5 in a row. And back now within 7 games of the White Sox.
Yeah, that could be a very interesting division as we move through the summer months.
Joey Votto on deck, 1 out, and Encarnacion goes after the 3-1 pitch and grounds it to third. Lowell to his left, and the throw in time, 2 down.
Well, Sox fans, remember every game night at midnight to tune into NESN for Red Sox in 2. It's the Sox latest matchup in a convenient 2-hour format, presented by Ace Ticket, official ticket partner of the Boston Red Sox.
Two outs here in the 4th inning, and Joey Votto coming up. He's doubled to center field his first time up, a gapper. As he takes strike 1. Only 2 hits given up today by Beckett, a single for Cabrera in the first and the double by Votto in the 2nd inning. Fouled off, and it's 0-2. David Ross, the catcher, on deck with 2 outs and nobody on in the bottom of the 4th inning. Of course, the Red Sox have the chance to face the Reds quite a bit during the spring. Their spring training home is in Sarasota, not far from Fort Myers, and the 2 match up quite a bit during the spring. And it's been a quiet season for Dusty Baker in his first year at the helm of the Cincinnati Reds. Votto fouls off another, and it's still 0-2. Fly ball foul again, and Votto staying alive, still 0-2. Breaking ball outside, 1-2 to Joey Votto.
Trying to think where the Reds were before they moved to Sarasota for spring training. I know for a while they were up in Plant City, which was up near Tampa. That was a long time ago. Because the White Sox were in Sarasota till they moved to Arizona.
Up over the mound and under the glove, and off of it, a Lugo slows down in shallow center, and it's a 2-out base hit for Votto. He's got his 2nd hit of the day off Josh Beckett.
A double back in the 2nd inning on a curveball, and now the base hit up the middle that Lugo can't quite get to. Big bounce in front of home plate, over the head of Beckett, over the second base bag, and into center field for the base hit. I think even if Lugo makes that play, there's no way he spins around and throws Votto out at first base. So Beckett was trying for 2 back-to-back 1-2-3 innings. Not going to happen with the base hit.
2 outs. Votto at first. Here is David Ross, who swings away and lifts a high fly ball to deep left field. Ellsbury back onto the dirt of the warning track to make the catch that ends the 4th inning. So they leave Votto at first. We played for it's 5-0 Boston.
It's fun, exciting, and only here for a short time. Introducing the lottery's limited edition World Series Red Sox ticket. You can win up to $10 million instantly. There are also 20 instant prizes, each worth $1 million. Plus, you could win great Red Sox World Series memorabilia. Get yours today at Fenway Park, your local lottery agent, masslottery.com.
Dustin Pedroia leads it off here in the top half of the 5th inning for the Red Sox, and he takes strike 1 from Jeremy Affeldt. Well, welcome to your first game. Only 3 years old from Middleborough, Mass. Pedroia grounds one left side, and it's the shortstop Cabrera off balance with the throw that's in time. Wow. Looked like when Encarnacion, the third baseman, couldn't get it, it was going to be a base hit, but able to get the job done there, and there's one down on the 5th.
Yeah, he's actually screened by the third baseman. I mean, there's about 3 feet after the third baseman goes by that he has a chance to react to that ground ball, and on the run, going away from first base, makes the play on Pedroia. So Cabrera with a very fine defensive play. He's also had a hit in the ball game today.
One down for J.D. Drew, who was put on base twice today. A walk in the first, and then the solo home run line drive style in the third. I have the answer to your question about spring training sites for the Reds. They've been in Sarasota since 1998. Prior to that, you're right, Plant City 88 through 97, and then before that Tampa from 1946 to 1987. How far do you want me to go?
Oh, that's far enough.
1943 through 1945, they were in Bloomington, Indiana.
What?
Yeah. I bet you Bloomington's beautiful.
Oh,
that's
gorgeous weather. They had to trade indoors somewhere, right?
I guess 1943 through 1945, Bloomington, Indiana.
I remember going to Tampa to play them. Red Sox at that time were training in Winter Haven, Florida, and the Reds were in Tampa. And then, of course, they moved to Plant City, where they built a complex there.
Now play at Ed Smith Stadium in Sarasota. It's also the home for their Florida State League team. Well, the Red Sox and Reds wrapping up this series today in Cincinnati. Our first look at Cincinnati. Never been to Cincinnati before. Have you ever been to the city?
No, it's the first time I've been here as a broadcaster. Never been here as a player. It went by fast, that's for sure. You had that the night game, and then of course yesterday a 4 o'clock start, and right back here this afternoon. So not much time to get around. You had an off day yesterday. Did you get around the town a little bit?
I walked around for a little bit in the afternoon, but went back and watched you work yesterday.
You have a lot of restaurants very close to where we are right now. The hotel we stay is only maybe about a couple of miles from the ballpark.
It's actually only about 3 blocks.
No, it's more than 3 blocks.
No, I think it's only 3 blocks, but
it's not walking distance.
I know it took us a long time in the cab the other night.
I will say this, convenience-wise, leaving this ballpark, very convenient. As you head out through an exit, and there's cabs waiting right there, and the cops have a good way of controlling the traffic, and within 10 minutes, you're back at the hotel.
1 out, 1 on. It's time for a game break with Tom Caron back in Boston. TC.
All right, Don, thanks very much. On New England Toyota Dealer game break, Wes Helms with a homer to left off Edwin Jackson here with 2 runners aboard. Breaks a scoreless tie in the second. It is now 3-0 Florida in the Battle of the Sunshine State. Guys?
All right, TC. Thanks very much, TC. It's 5-0. The Red Sox on top here with 1 out. J.D. Drew at first base. They check on him, and he's easily back to the bag. Mike Lowell grounded into a double play in the first inning. He walked in the third inning as he bats for the 3rd time. His first look at Jeremy Affeldt.
We're back from the game last night, and right across the street from the hotel there was a Morton's. So I was trying to figure out, do I do room service or do I go get a big Morton steak? I decided on the steak.
Bet on the latter.
That was a good decision.
Well, lots of Red Sox fans here for this series. A lot of people making their vacation plans around a new ballpark every year, and certainly the visit here for the Red Sox historic, and the first one since 1975.
Red Sox Destinations Tour also here. What, about 150 people in that group?
Big group.
And another group going on to Philadelphia.
I really like that ballpark in Philadelphia. I know it's small and can be a launching pad, but I thought it was well done, well put together. We'll be there tomorrow night for the first of 3.
Hope you remember how we got out of that ballpark. We found a new route last year that we eliminated a lot of traffic. It was through some back roads. You remember that?
I do. I just don't remember how we do it. I know we went through some back entrance, and then we were right at the light we needed to be at. Now, if we can ever do that again.
Yeah, we've got to do that again, because the other way is impossible. Right down Broad Street.
It's amazing they have every sports facility in the entire town in the same spot right there. Where the Eagles play, where the 76ers play, of course, where the Phillies play, right there. There have been several occasions we get 2 different events going on at the same time, and it's just a disaster in that area. Lowell fouling it off himself and limping around a little bit as he tries to walk it off.
Actually, I thought Mike Lowell might have the day off today. You know, they play maybe Casey at first, Youkilis at third base, and give Lowell a day off, but not the case. Playing all 3 games in this series. And I guess, you know, with Manny out of the lineup, put the RBI guy in that number 4 hole, and Mike Lowell.
2-2 the count, 1 out. J.D. Drew at first base. Red Sox batting here in the 5th with a 5-0 lead. Lowell takes a pitch outside, full count. Youkilis waits on deck. He's had an 0 for 2 day so far today. Runner goes, and it's ground ball to deep. Short. Cabrera from one knee. His throw is not going to be in time. The infield hit for Lowell. And Drew, who is running on the pitch, takes second.
Well, Cabrera's already made 1 fine play in this inning, but that one just about impossible. Down on his knees, tries to make the throw to first base, but nowhere near in time to get Mike Lowell. As a matter of fact, first baseman Joey Votto comes off the bag to make sure that ball doesn't get by him.
So 2 on 1 away, and here's Kevin Youkilis, who was flied out to left and struck out swinging. Jeremy Affeldt running into his first trouble since he came in the 3rd inning. Red Sox Nation being heard from here in Cincinnati as the Reds fans try to drown out their chants. The strike, and it's 1-1 to Youkilis. Red Sox fans were quieted on Friday night in the first game of the series when the Reds were able to shut down Boston. The Red Sox with a dramatic victory yesterday. They're now ahead 5-0 in game 3.
Ellis Ballpark's been very quiet this afternoon. Of course, the reason is the Red Sox are ahead 5-0. There hasn't been much for the Reds fans to cheer about.
On the ground left side and into left field, a base hit. Drew will try and score. Adam Dunn bobbled the ball, and moving up now to third base is Lowell. Dunn was getting himself ready to make the throw. It slipped out of his hand. Drew was going to try and score. He does easily, as it turns out. And the Red Sox take a 6-0 advantage.
Yeah, base hit to drive and a run for Kevin Youkilis, his 44th RBI of the season. No problem there, but there's the bobble by Dunn. And that's going to allow Mike Lowell to go to third base.
He is charged with an error out there in left field, so it is the first miscue now for the Reds, and out is Dusty Baker. Looks like he's going to be making a double switch, as his pitcher Jeremy Affeldt has given up a run here in the 5th inning.
Looks like it'll be the catcher David Ross going out of the game.
It was the final out of the 4th inning.
That will become the pitcher's spot.
So Dusty out there to make the pitching change with the Red Sox now on top in this one. Score of 6-0.
FW Web is proud to be the official supplier of plumbing, heating, and cooling supplies to the Boston Red Sox. To learn more about how FW Web can help you, contact your local professional contractor or visit fwweb.com. FW Web, we've got it.
6-0. The Red Sox are on top now with 1 out here in the 5th inning, and the new pitcher is Gary Majeski.
He just returned to the team. He was on bereavement leave. His wife had a baby down in Houston, Texas. Only making his 4th appearance. Called up from AAA just recently.
Jeremy Affeldt ends going 2 innings of relief, still responsible for the runners on. Red Sox have runners at 1st and 3rd with 1 out in the inning, a run in for Boston. Jason Varitek has walked and reached on a fielder's choice. Swing and a miss, and Varitek with a count of 2-1. Affeldt gave up 3 hits and so far has been charged with only 1 run. He walked 1 and struck out 2. Kind of quieted the Red Sox offense a little bit after the Reds starter today. Homer Bailey gave up 5 runs. One foul back to the backstop and a full count. Outfield set up straight away for Jason Varitek. Coco Crisp waits on deck with 1 out here in the 5th. And tight ball 4, and down to first base goes Varitek. Majeski walks the first batter that he faces. And it loads the bases for Boston here in the 5th inning. There's Coco, who homered in the 2nd inning, a 2-run shot, which at the time put the Red Sox on top 3-0. Then struck out swinging in the 4th inning. That was against Affeldt. So bases loaded, 1 down. The check swing went around, so home plate umpire Ron Kulpa. Gary Majeski came over from the Washington Nationals. Deal that involved Austin Kearns going to the Nationals. Originally a White Sox 2nd-round pick back in 1998. And last year out of the pen had an 8.22 earned run average, was 0-4. Crisp sends it into left field for a base hit. From 3rd comes Lowell. Youkilis is behind him. 2 more runs in for the Red Sox, who lead it 8-0.
Now big day for Coco Crisp. Already 4 runs batted in the afternoon. The 2-run home run in the 2nd. And now the opposite field base hit to drive in 2 more. Took that outside fastball, just slaps it the other way. No problem with 2 runs coming in. And it's becoming a runaway for the Red Sox midway through this ball game.
That closes the book on Affeldt, who in 2 innings gives up 3 hits, 3 runs. He walked 1 and struck out 2. 8-0 Boston. Julio Lugo the batter with runners at 1st and 2nd and 1 down. Lugo lifts one high in the air to left center field. It's Jay Bruce calling for it, and the center fielder will make the catch for the second out of the inning. Jerry, on another day, as you mentioned it off the top of today's telecast, you got no Manny Ramirez, you got no David Ortiz, but still plenty of offense.
Yeah, you know, I mentioned way at the beginning when David Ortiz unfortunately had that cast put on, and without him in the lineup, it's a major loss. But the Red Sox do still have plenty of offense in this lineup, and as long as they continue to pitch well, they can remain very competitive and very good. You know, you hate to lose a guy like David Ortiz. It's obvious. I mean, that's a no-brainer. But the fact is, there still is a lot of offense on this ball club, and we've seen it over the last couple of days. In particular, the game yesterday again this afternoon, and as you mentioned, Don, even without Manny Ramirez. So all you hope for is when that cast comes off David Ortiz, that thing's feeling pretty good.
Josh Beckett sends one up the middle. Holbert Cabrera is there for the force out at second base. It ends the inning. The Red Sox tack on 3 more runs and lead it 8-0 halfway through this one.
Visit the official online shop of the Boston Red Sox at redsox.com. Browse the largest online selection of authentic team gear, including clubhouse caps and t-shirts, jerseys, collectibles, and more. Shop the redsox.com shop.
Bottom of the 5th inning on a sunny day from Cincinnati, where the Red Sox have an 8-0 advantage headed to the bottom of the 5th inning. This very big crowd again on hand here in Cincinnati on this Father's Day, and a little bit of mist out there. The outfield, one of the spots here at Great American Ballpark. Paul Bacco is going to lead it off. He's part of the double switch. Comes into the game to catch for David Ross. Bacco caught the game yesterday. Hits .241, 6 homers, and 20 runs batted in. Josh Beckett working here into the 5th inning. Has 5 strikeouts today, a walk, and has given up 3 hits. Has not yet been touched for a run. The Reds did have some opportunities early, especially as they left 2 men on in the first, 2 men on in the 2nd inning. But since the second, only 1 base hit given up by Josh Beckett, who's settled in.
Yeah, a little trouble in the first couple of innings for Beckett getting into the flow of the game, it looked like, but certainly has settled down since then. A nice clean 3rd inning, only the base hit given up in the 4th inning.
At a 21-minute wait while the Red Sox put more runs on the board, scoring 3 times in the top half of this inning. Bacco, a swing and a miss, and the count 1-2. Bacco's signed by the Reds to a minor league contract in February this past off season. Turning to the Reds after a 10-year absence from the organization, originally selected by the Reds in the 5th round back in 1993. Strike 3 called. Beckett picks up his 6th strikeout of the day. Bacco goes looking, and there's 1 away in the 5th.
That's the 2-seam fastball from Beckett that starts out inside, rides back right on the inside corner. Great pitch to freeze left-handed hitters.
1 down here in the 5th inning. Back up top for Jay Bruce, who was 0 for 2. He struck out swinging in the 1st inning, popped out to second base in the 2nd. From Beaumont, Texas, resides in Houston, Texas during the offseason.
Isn't Beckett from Beaumont, Texas also?
I know he's from Texas. I'm not sure if it's Beaumont or not. Let's check it out.
Maybe Kevin Millar is from Beaumont.
Somebody is from Beaumont. I know that. Josh Beckett is born in Spring, Texas, resides in Cotulla, Texas during the offseason. A couple of Texans going head to head, and it's this ground ball to second. Pedroia handles, and there's 2 down in the inning. Yeah, I think you're right. I think Millar was Beaumont, Texas.
Well, the Red Sox have done a good job of keeping Bruce quiet since the first game of this series. Took it 0 for 4 yesterday, 0 for 3 today against Josh Beckett.
2 down for Holbert Cabrera, who singled in the first inning, struck out in the third inning. He's 1 for 2. His brother Orlando, part of a very good Chicago White Sox team this year. Holbert and Orlando from Cartagena, Colombia.
Cartagena.
What did I say? Cartagena? My Spanish is a little weak. The 0-1. There's tap foul, and it's 0-2. So the G is silent?
I believe so. I believe it's Cartagena, Colombia.
Well, they're both from Colombia.
Yeah, Cartagena.
Well, Holbert is a little more versatile than Orlando is. He's played in the outfield quite a bit. Shortstop, first base. 134 career appearances in the outfield. More versatile, but not quite as good as his brother numbers wise over the years. Well, 2 pitches lined into center field, a base hit. Holbert Cabrera's got his second hit of the day.
And Beckett not happy with himself. He hung another breaking ball there with a couple of strikes on Cabrera. And Cabrera right it back up the middle with the base hit. See the location of the curve ball about belt high, and Beckett not happy at all with that pitch.
So 2 down, Cabrera at first base. Ken Griffey Jr. coming up. He is 0 for 2, reaching on a fielder's choice in the first, popping out to the shortstop in the third. The shift on, and Lugo makes the spinning play and fires to first for the out. Cabrera left on. We played 5 full. It's now 8-0 Boston.
Covidien is a proud sponsor of the Boston Red Sox and the Red Sox Foundation, helping to raise money for life-saving cancer research.
No defensive changes for the Reds as we move along to the 6th inning. And Jay Bruce moves from center field to right field as Ken Griffey Jr. comes out of the game, and the new center fielder is Corey Patterson, former Baltimore Oriole we saw a great deal of over the years, and Chicago Cub as well. He's now in center field for the Reds as we head to the top of the 6th inning. Gary Majeski back on the mound for the Reds, and it's the top of the Red Sox order. Jacoby Ellsbury, Dustin Pedroia, and J.D. Drew to bat here in the 6th inning, with the Red Sox on top 8-0. Ellsbury singled in the first inning, stole second base, then stole third base before scoring in the inning. Then homered a solo shot in the third. Last time out he lined out. Now a 2-hopper slowly to Phillips for the first out of the inning. Let's check back in with Heidi Watney. Heidi.
Well, Don, Red Sox fans may be familiar with some of the wines of their favorite players, such as Kevin Youkilis's Sauvignon Blanc or David Ortiz's Vintage Poppy. Well, the same company, Charity Hop, is here celebrating the release of their newest wine. It's called Junior. It's Ken Griffey Jr.'s Cabernet. And the really great thing about these wines is that they raise money for charity.
About a year and a half ago, we were called by John Corcoran at Charity Wines, and they said they were interested in putting out some baseball wines to raise money for charity. And they knew that we had been working with some players on the Red Sox with some different charity events, and we figured we'd give it a whirl. And last year we rolled out with wines with Curt Schilling and Tim Wakefield and Manny Ramirez, and it was incredibly successful. And that ultimately led out to rolling out with charity wines for 30 different athletes across the country, across baseball, football, and hockey. And to date, we've actually raised more than $1 million just from wine bottle sales for the different charities that the players support.
Now, Brett Rudy also told me players typically get pretty involved in selecting the varietals of the wine through taste tests. They even help come up with the name of the wine and the design of the label. Don?
All right, Heidi, thanks very much. Yeah, it's a great program, and it has raised a great deal of money over the years. I'm surprised you haven't got your own oil yet, Jerry. This one to deep left field for Pedroia. Back up, and it is gone. Dustin Pedroia's 5th home run of the year, the 4th round tripper of the day for Boston. And the Red Sox out to a 9-0 advantage.
Now the Boston Red Sox are making this ballpark look awfully small here this afternoon. Home runs all over the place. Coco Crisp, J.D. Drew, Dustin Pedroia, Jacoby Ellsbury. Number 5 on the season for Pedroia. Picks up his 2nd RBI of the afternoon.
Well, Hess is proud to sponsor the Red Sox and NESN's coverage of the Red Sox during the 2008 Red Sox season. Hess will donate $500 to Children's Hospital Boston for every home run hit by Hess. Hess committed to helping the cause. And a big day today for the Red Sox. 4 home runs. A 9-0 advantage as J.D. Drew's got one of those home runs. Swings and misses this time and is down 1-2. He's been on base 3 times today, walking twice, and the home run for him in the 3rd, a solo shot.
Well, 2 very hitter-friendly ballparks on this road trip, because here in Cincinnati and the next stop in Philadelphia.
Swing and a miss, and Drew down on strikes. First time they've been able to retire him on the day. And there's 2 down here in the 6th inning. First strikeout for Majeski.
Majeski goes to the slider down and out of the strike zone, and J.D. Drew chases it for the strikeout.
328 to left, 325 to right. And 404 to straightaway center field. On the ground to third base, tough hop, explodes on Encarnacion, stays with it, throw off the mark, and towards the dugout. It is run down over there by the catcher Baco, and Lowell kind of went in strangely at first base as well.
It looked like Lowell thought he was going to have to maybe slide around a tag. This ball just pops up, and a nasty hop that hits Encarnacion right off the hand, it looked like. Then he throws it away. You see Lowell diving into first base. Looks like he might have jammed his left wrist a little bit. That's got to go as a base hit.
I thought so too, but it went up as an error.
You got to be kidding me.
No, it was just, I wrote in there Mike Lowell's infield hit on the scorecard. I looked up and they've charged him with his 2nd error of the day for the Reds.
I mean, he basically had no chance on that. That ball took a brutal hop on him.
So far, it is an error charge to the 3rd baseman Encarnacion on this hop that explodes on him.
Yeah, I mean, how do you catch that? And of course, Lowell did not couldn't go to second base. The ball stayed in play. I think it should have been a base hit, but I'm not the official scorer this afternoon.
Two down, Mike Lowell at first base for the Red Sox. Kevin Youkilis 1 for 3 today with an RBI. Chop to third, and Encarnacion will go to first base for the out. That ends things here in the top of the 6th inning. 5.5 done. Red Sox now on top 9-0. It's 9-0. The Red Sox on top as we head to the bottom of the 6th inning. A defensive change for Boston as Brandon Moss goes into right field for J.D. Drew. Back on the mound for the Red Sox is Josh Beckett, and the pitching line is brought to you by Nissan. First 5 for Beckett. He's thrown 80 pitches, not allowed to run. He has 6 strikeouts on the day, a couple of walks. He's given up 2 hits since the 2nd inning. Brandon Phillips leads it off for the Reds here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Walked in the first inning, lined out to left field in the 3rd, and rounds the first one foul.
You know, one thing we noticed with Terry Francona as a manager, regardless of who comes up to the big leagues, he immediately has a nickname. Tito's big on nicknames with his players, right?
Absolutely true.
You know, Moss is Mossy. Well, she got
one of my favorites is Lugo is Loogie.
Loogie.
I like that.
Jacoby Ellsbury's Jake. Coco, of course.
Troy's Petey.
Uke.
Did you already say Mossy?
Yuki. It's Yuki.
Yuki. You have Mossy, who's now in right field.
Okajima.
And his bench coach, Millsy. Millsy, go get Mossy and tell Loogie to come with him. John Farrell, I don't think has one. I think he's just John Farrell. We'll have to check on that, but I'm pretty sure he only calls him John Farrell.
I'm sure we're missing some. Of course, Tech, we all know that. Paps.
On the ground to Petey. On to Yuki. And there's one out here in the bottom of the 6th inning.
You know, there was a day in this business when I first started that if you called a player by his first name, you got ripped.
Really?
I'm telling you. You sounded too much like a homer if you called him, you know, by, oh, here comes, you know, Manny, you know. No, here comes Ramirez. They got ripped. How stupid was that? I mean, this is the team that we follow, and we do want them to win.
Every day. Adam Dunn, the batter, he struck out twice, striking out in the 1st and again in the 4th, both times looking. Not on the hands, but he sends it down the right field line, falling fast and falling foul. Moss giving chase down there, so is Pedroia with the shift on for the Red Sox.
Sometimes you're sitting in meetings with Tito and he drops one on you maybe you're not familiar with because you know, it might be a guy that just called up and you kind of look at each other and try to figure out who he's talking about.
Well, Jake kind of fooled me.
Jake
last
got me,
homestand.
yeah.
Jacoby Ellsbury became Jake somehow, and he dropped 2 Jakes, and I wasn't sure who he was even talking about. There's Jake. Swing and a miss for Dunn, who's now down on the count 1-2. Spots at it foul. Still 1-2 to Adam Dunn. One-two pitch. Should he go? They'll check. No, says Dale Scott. And it's 2-2. Done with home runs in each of the first 2 games of this series, but 0 for 2 today. Fouled off again, still 2-2. Mentioned the last 3 years, very consistent for Dunn. 40 home runs in each of the last 3 seasons. 05, 06, and 07. Prior to that, 46 back in 2004, the most he's had in any individual season. And so far this year, 18 homers. Inside, a full count.
That ball's been a strike at times in this game for Josh Beckett. This time being called inside. That's that 2-seam fastball again.
In the air to center field. Coco Crisp was in right center, now moves into left center to make the grab for the second out of the inning.
Tonight at 10, tune in to NESN for Sports Desk Lights Out with Catherine Tappan, presented by FW Webb, home of Frank Webb's Bath Centers. You'll get the update from Game 5 of the NBA Finals between the Celtics and Lakers, plus go behind the scenes with Bruins defenseman Zdeno Chara at last Thursday's NHL Awards Night in Toronto. All this and more coming up tonight at 10.
2 outs for Edwin Encarnacion, who is 0 for 2. He's fly to left and grounded out to third base. Left side on the run is Lowell, and in plenty of time to get Encarnacion. A 1-2-3 6th inning for Becca. We played 6, 9-0 Boston. Nine to nothing, the Red Sox on top as we head to the top half of the 7th inning back in Cincinnati. New Reds pitcher, the 4th of the day. It's Bill Bray.
He worked in the game yesterday, 2/3 of an inning against the Red Sox. Did have a strikeout, 24th appearance overall. Started the season in Louisville, was called up when Kent Merker was injured.
Jason Varitek leads it off here in the 7th inning. He has walked, reached on a fielder's choice, and walked again. Does not have one of the Red Sox 9 hits today. Varitek, Coco Crisp, and Julio Lugo expected here in the 7th inning.
I sense that the Cincinnati Reds are in for a very long summer.
I would agree.
The only bright spot that we really saw this weekend was a starting pitcher yesterday, Valquez. And of course some young talent, Jay Bruce, of course, coming up, you know, just recently, who they're excited about. But a lot of work to be done on this club.
And you wonder, as we mentioned earlier, if they are able to find a home for Ken Griffey Jr. and trade him away, what kind of prospects they can get back in the meantime that would add to this club. Bill Bray coming over from the Washington Nationals, now in his 3rd season with the Cincinnati Reds. Varitek pops it up foul, back and out of play. Of course, they not only made the change at manager this year with Dusty Baker, but they changed general managers. Walt Chockerney now the general manager here and president of baseball operations. And Dusty Baker in his 1st season here with a record of 33-37, trying to turn some things around. And Krivsky was the general manager here. In 2+ seasons, had a record of 161, 184, and under 500 record, as Brandon Phillips at second base throws out Varitek at first for the first out of the 7th.
Coming up after the game, it's WB Mason's Extra Innings with Tom Caron, Jim Rice, and Heidi Watney. You'll get the manager's perspective on this series finale as Heidi brings you Terry's take from the Sox clubhouse. Plus, Jim will break down Josh Beckett's outing this afternoon. It's all coming up right after the game, and it's all live on our favorite network, NESN.
One out for Coco Crisp. Coco homered in the second inning, struck out in the fourth, and then singled in the fifth.
I'm going to try to avoid, Don, on my final day here to hit this television that's just above my head. Now, I'm not a tall man. I very seldom hit my head on anything, but I've nailed myself twice. I was a little woozy leaving the park Friday night. I thought I was bleeding.
You smoked it pretty good the first time. Today it looks like you kind of glanced off the TV.
It was a glancing blow today, but it was solid when the game ended on Friday night. And we were walking out of here. I kept feeling my head, expecting blood to be somewhere. But I guess I don't cut easy, I guess.
People don't realize how dangerous the broadcast booth can be.
And I'm wondering, I wonder why it's there. I mean,
I think it's for those of us who sit behind us
right
have the chance to see the TV.
It's right there, and like we really can't see anything on it.
No, it doesn't. It serves us no purpose.
So I get so excited on the final out, I kind of jump up and whack. I mean, oh my God.
You absolutely crushed it the other night.
I tell you,
at the end of the game.
I was leaving. I expected blood to come out. I kept holding the back of my head, but nothing. Nothing at all.
Well, it is very dangerous. There should be some sort of warning or something up there.
Just wonder why it's there, though. I mean, could be somewhere else.
This taps it foul outside of third.
I mean, even if, like, for example, the Celtics are playing right now, and I wanted to watch the game while doing our game, I couldn't do it because I'd have to.
You have to wheel yourself back 3 or 4 feet.
Yeah.
Swing and a miss, and Crisp strikes out. 2 down here in the top half of the 7th inning.
Big day for Coco. The 4 runs batted in on a home run and also a single. This time goes down on the slider, down and in. Second time he has struck out on a breaking ball today.
Two outs for Julio Lugo.
A lot of the fans have left. This was pretty much a full house. But warm afternoon, the game getting out of hand on the side of the Red Sox, and a lot of the Cincinnati fans have made their way on to maybe some barbecues.
Julio Lugo 1 for 3 today. Had a single back in the 4th inning. Bill Bray on here for the Reds, a former first-round pick of the Montreal Expos back in 2004. Came to the Reds in a deal that included Royce Clayton. And Gary Majeski came over from the Washington Nationals. Spent a good bit of time on the DL last year with a fracture in the tip of his left index finger. And was on the DL, as it turned out, from April 1st through July 19th. Experienced some tendonitis in his left shoulder on the way back. Fouled off, and it's a full count down to Julio Lugo. Lugo lifts it down the right field line. That's backing out of play as Jay Bruce gives chase. Three and two the count to Julio Lugo. 2 down, bases empty for the Red Sox here in the top of the 7th. Line drive foul down near the tarp area. Pretty good weather here over the weekend as it turned out. Friday night was a little iffy. They were expecting some tough weather to come through. Unfortunately, the Red Sox got the game in. Unfortunately for the Red Sox, it was a loss. But beautiful weather yesterday and again today. To left center and in for a hit for Julio Lugo, his second hit of the afternoon. Red Sox into double figures now in hits. That's 10. Lugo joins Coco Crisp, Mike Lowell, and Jacoby Ellsbury, all with 2 hits. As Josh Beckett stands in, he is 0 for 2 with the sacrifice bunt.
Beckett actually hit the ball pretty good to second base in his first at bat on a breaking ball. Line drive right at the second baseman, Brandon Phillips.
Late on the cut, he's down 0-2. Julio Lugo at first base, 2 outs in the top half of the 7th inning. And a swing and a miss as Bray strikes out Beckett to end the top of the 7th. We'll stay right here at Great American Ballpark in Cincinnati on this Father's Day, where the Red Sox enjoy a 9-0 advantage.
Tomorrow night after Monster Monday, it's Olympia Sports presents the Boston Globe pregame show with Tom Caron, Dennis Eckersley, and Heidi Watney. They'll preview the series against the first-place Phillies. On Tuesday, it's a battle of the lefties, John Lester against Jamie Moyer. Then on Wednesday, Eck will examine the best 3-4 combinations in the majors. It's all coming up over the next few days, only on NESN.
Well, the Red Sox on top here, 9-0 comfortably as the Reds come to bat in the bottom of the 7th inning. Red Sox out hitting the Reds 10-4. Shutout pitching through the first 6 innings for Josh Beckett. Joey Votto to lead it off for the Reds, a pinch hitter on deck for Cincinnati, and then Paul Bacco expected here in the bottom of the 7th inning. Votto is 2 for 2, a double and a single. And he adds to that with a base hit to center field. He's had a great day today against Josh Beckett. He's now 3 for 3.
Well, he's had hits on a curveball, a fastball, and now a changeup from Beckett. No, the Reds are really high on this kid. There's no question about that. That's the changeup and the 3rd straight hit. So Beckett has thrown him all of his pitches. He's got hits on all of them.
Pitch hitter is Javier Valentin. In the pitcher's spot after the double switch in the 5th inning. They don't hold the runner on at first in Votto. As taking strike 1 is Valentin. Back up the middle and into center field through the legs of Josh Beckett. And up to second goes Votto. The first 2 have reached against Beckett here in the 7th inning.
There is action down in the Red Sox bullpen. Very difficult to see down in the area, but we believe it's Javier Lopez loosening up.
Two on, nobody out for Cincinnati here in the bottom of the 7th inning. Paul Bacco, the batter, came into the game as part of the double switch in the 5th and struck out looking. Well, lifts a fly ball to left field. Jacoby Ellsbury. And there's one down in the 7th. Well, Beckett today, 6 strikeouts. He has walked 2 batters in the game. Walked a batter in the first, walked a batter in the second, and has not walked anybody since. There's Javier Lopez up in the Red Sox pen. So 1 out, 2 on, and Jay Bruce has had a quiet afternoon for the Reds. Always dangerous. He is 0 for 3 in the game today. Strikeout, pop out, ground out. On the ground, right side to Pedroia. The second for one on to first base. The double play that ends the 7th inning. We played 7 from Cincinnati. The Red Sox on top 9-0.
For every Red Sox game that goes into extra innings, the Sox record a save. CVS Pharmacy will donate $500 to Children's Hospital Boston. CVS Pharmacy is the official pharmacy of the Boston Red Sox.
Top of the 8th inning. It is 9-0. The Red Sox on top in this one, and a new pitcher on for the Cincinnati Reds. David Weathers becomes the 5th pitcher for the Reds.
28th appearance for Weathers out of the bullpen, a 2-3 record. He worked in the ball game yesterday. An inning, gave up 3 hits and an earned run, and made 21 pitches against the Red Sox on Saturday. A little time on a DL early this season. A little nerve irritation of the right elbow. Looks like Valentin has come in to catch.
He pinch hit in the top half of this inning, and the pitcher spot stays in the game to do the catching now. It's the 3rd catcher today for the Reds. David Ross started, then Paul Bacco, and now Valentin.
So now the pitcher spot returns to the pitcher spot, right? 9th in the batting
Correct.
order?
Yep. This one fouled off down below us, and on a play for Jacoby Ellsbury, who leads it off here in the 8th inning. David Weathers, now 38 years of age, and now in his 4th season in Cincinnati. Red Sox saw some of him when he was a member of the Cleveland Indians and New York Yankees in the past. He's been all over. Broke into the big leagues with Toronto back in 1991. Blue Jays 3rd round pick. Better than 70 appearances in 2 out of the last 3 years for Cincinnati. Appeared in 73 games in 05 and 70 games last year. Just inside, and it's 2-2 now to Ellsbury. Dustin Pedroia, then Brandon Moss expected here in the 8th. As Pedroia sends it out into left field for a base hit, his 3rd hit of the day, and a leadoff single to begin things here in the 8th inning.
A couple of times Ellsbury's gone to the opposite field back in the 1st inning, and now just kind of slices one up over the head of the shortstop for the base hit. So a couple of singles, the home run, 2 stolen bases again for Ellsbury in this game. And will not be running ahead 9-0 now.
Here's Dustin Pedroia. Take strike 1. Had a sacrifice fly to get the scoring started for the Red Sox back in the 1st inning. Picked up his 30th RBI. And then after flying out and grounding out, he hit a solo home run in the 6th inning. 1 of 4 round trippers today for the Red Sox. Now sends a high fly ball to center field, sending Corey Patterson back. Makes the catch shy of the track for the 1st out of the inning. So 1 down here in the 8th. Ellsbury still at first base, and it brings up Brandon Moss. Took over for J.D. Drew. Drew had quite a day, a couple of walks and another home run for J.D. Now 11 on the season. Today's attendance 39,958. As Jerry mentioned, most have ducked out, however, with the score here for the Reds, 39,958. Moss takes strike 2, and it's 0-2. And one of the great things in this series we saw on Friday night, the return of Sean Casey and the response that he got from the Cincinnati Reds crowd as they gave him a standing ovation. He was able to tip the cap, or in that case helmet, as he came to bat for the first time. He'll be pinch hitting coming up. Moss down on the count, 1-2 with 1 out, and Jacoby Ellsbury at first base. Outside, 2-2. Moss 2 for 11 in 6 games and 3 starts since coming up from Pawtucket. Sends one out towards center field. Corey Patterson on the run will get there to make the catch for the second out. And Sean Casey comes to bat. Sean remembered fondly by this Reds crowd, as he is remembered everywhere he goes fondly. One of the nicest people you will ever meet is Sean Casey. Takes strike 1. His time here in Cincinnati, of course, broke into the big leagues with Cleveland, but was a member of the Reds from 1998 through 2005.
Yesterday, prior to the game, of course, in those national games, they have sometimes players introduced to starting lineups, and Sean Casey introduced it for the Red Sox, and he was taking all kind of abuse from the Cincinnati Reds on that other side. Finally, Griffey and Dunn went right up to where he was doing the thing and stood, kind of hung over him as he finally made his way through it.
On the ground and foul.
Brandon Phillips was doing it from the other side. It must have took him about 9 takes to get it done. He was welcome to Friday Day Baseball, and it was all messed up.
One and 2 to Casey with Ellsbury at first base, 2 down in the 8th. And Casey strikes out to end things here in the top of the 8th. Red Sox lead at 9-0 as we head to the bottom of the 8th. Back in Cincinnati, where the game summary is brought to you by your local Lincoln Mercury dealers. Well, home runs galore today for the Red Sox, 4 of them all together, as Coco Crisp would homer. Also Jacoby Ellsbury with his 5th of the year. J.D. Drew with his 11th of the season. And Dustin Pedroia able to get his 5th of the year as part of this 9-0 Red Sox attack. Great pitching today from Josh Beckett, who ends up going 7 shutout innings, giving up 6 hits, walked 2, struck out 6. Defensive changes for the Red Sox. Kevin Youkilis now at third base for Boston. Sean Casey just pinch hit, stays in the game at first base. Mike Lowell out of the game, as is Jason Varitek, as Kevin Cash, the new catcher for the new pitcher, David Aardsma.
28th appearance for Aardsma, 2nd of this series. Worked in game 1 an inning and had a couple of strikeouts. 30 strikeouts and 30 1/3 innings on the season for David Aardsma.
Hobert Cabrera leading it off for the Reds here in the bottom of the 8th. He had 2 hits today off Beckett. Cabrera and Votto both had good days today against Beckett. Votto was 3 for 3. And Cabrera 2 for 3 as he bats from the number 2 spot in the order.
That was it, though. The guys in the middle of the lineup could not do anything with Josh Beckett this afternoon.
3, 4, and 5. They were 0 for 11 combined as a group. Two and 1 the count to Hobert Cabrera. Corey Patterson waiting on deck. This one fouled off, and it's 2-2. Very nice. Well, they are on top of Cincinnati 9-0. And we'll see what happens tonight between the Celtics and Lakers. I know you're hopeful we get in there in Philadelphia tonight in time to see that action tonight.
We should get it in plenty of time, I would think, to see tap-off for that ball game. I'm a little concerned about a lot of the injuries for the Celtics tonight. I don't know about wrapping it up tonight. I might have to come back to Boston, but we'll see.
There's ball 4, and Ardsma walks the first batter that he faces with a 9-0 advantage.
Well, Josh Beckett, a good afternoon. Struggled a little bit in the first couple of innings, but then settled down nicely into the ball game. A lot of strikeouts for him. Strikeouts on a fastball again, down and away, just picking his spots, breaking ball. This is more like the performance we saw a year ago from Josh Beckett. Very clean outing today after he got through the first couple of innings.
Well, 7 shutout innings today for Beckett, and the 6 Ks for him. David Ardsma walks the first batter that he faces here in the 8th, and Corey Patterson gets his first at bat. Taking over defensively in center field, he bats in Ken Griffey Jr.'s spot in the order. Griffey had a quiet day today, 0 for 3. In fact, quiet series, didn't have a hit in the series. 0 for 13 for Ken Griffey Jr. Popped up. That goes Youkilis and Lugo. Lugo calling and catching the first out here of the 8th.
Following the game today, it's Granite City Electric Extra Innings Extra with Sean Karen, Jim Rice, and Heidi Watney. You'll get all the reaction from the Red Sox clubhouse after this series finale, plus a preview of the 3-game series in Philadelphia that begins tomorrow against the high-powered Phillies offense. It's all coming up right after the game, live on NESN.
So 1 out. Holbert Cabrera at first base, and here's Brandon Phillips, who walked in the first inning, lined out in the 3rd, grounded out in the 6th inning. Red Sox had 13 hits yesterday. They followed up with 11-hit attack today. And lead it 9-0. So one bouncing in, smothered by Cash. No advance at first base for Holbert Cabrera. David Ardsma has given up 2 earned runs in his last 8 1/3 innings pitched over 7 games. Fly ball to right field. Brandon Moss in. And he'll make the catch off of that last pitch of Ben Cabrera. He finds his way back to the bag at first with now 2 down.
You know, they had Cabrera going there, and I really don't like that play. I know they're giving it to him, but suppose it's a line drive to the infield and you get a double play out of the inning. I mean, I understand you're 9 runs down, and, you know, they're giving him the base, but you know, the danger of that is a line drive at an infielder and a double play gets you out of the inning. Fly ball to Mossy. He makes the 2nd out of the inning.
2 down for Adam Dunn, who was 0 for 3. He struck out twice and fly to center. Slaps it foul. The count evens at 2-2. The left-handed batters against Ardsma hitting at 229. Right-handed batter's only at 197. On the hands and sent out towards Pedroia at short right. With a shift on, he throws out Dunn. Leadoff walk is wasted for the Reds. We played 8, 9-0 Boston.
Coming up after the game, it's WB Mason's Extra Innings with Tom Karen, Jim Rice, and Heidi Watney. You'll get the breakdown of the key plays of the series finale, all the reaction from the Red Sox clubhouse, and hear Father's Day wishes from Red Sox players. It's all coming up right after the game, and it's all live on NESN.
Berkeley, Massachusetts here in Cincinnati on this Father's Day, where the Red Sox are on top 9-0. Defensive changes for the Reds as we head to the top of the ninth. Andy Phillips into the game for Cincinnati at second base for Brandon Phillips and the new pitcher Jared Burton.
Second appearance of this series for Burton. He worked on Friday, pitched an inning in that ball game, had a strikeout, a total of 11 pitches. 32nd appearance overall, 39 strikeouts and 35 1/3 innings for Burton.
Kevin Youkilis, who started the game as the Red Sox first baseman, moved over to third base last inning defensively. And bats for the 5th time today, 1 for 4 so far with an RBI. Now Burton has been one of the bright spots for the Reds out of their bullpen this season. Overall, it's been a tough season for Cincinnati as a team. They have a 4.44 earned run average. It's 11th in the National League. Chicago Cubs on top, an earned run average at 3.60. David Weathers pitched the 8th inning. An inning, a hit, no runs, no walks. He struck out a batter. And because the Reds starter only went 2 1/3, we've seen a lot of this Reds bullpen here today. Burton, the 7th pitcher used today by the Reds. Three and 1 the count to Kevin Youkilis. Rolls it foul down the third baseline, and a full count now to Youkilis. And the Red Sox will head to Philadelphia after the ball game today. 3-game series against the Phillies coming up.
And it looks like the Red Sox will also pick up a game on Tampa Bay as they are trailing 8-2 in the 9th inning against the Marlins.
Really the first time in that natural rival scenario that game has really meant very much for two teams. Sometimes Florida's been good, but Tampa Bay, of course, has not been prior to this season. And this year, both teams playing well. The Marlins are 4 games back of the Phillies in the National League East. And of course, the Rays now a factor in the American League East. What's left of this crowd, which is mainly Red Sox fans, get the "Let's Go Red Sox" chant going as Youkilis fouls it off to the right. Better than 39,000 were here today, 39,958, but it seems like all Red Sox fans hanging around to see the end of this one.
I wonder if this destination package goes from here to Philadelphia. Is it the same people, same group?
I think it's different.
Different one?
Youkilis lifts the fly ball out to center field. And Patterson camps underneath for the first out of the top of the 9th inning.
Yeah, you probably have to be, right? I mean, you got tomorrow's a Monday, so people have to work and school and all that stuff. So.
One out for Kevin Cash. Bats for the first time today. Jason Varitek had been on 3 times without the benefit of a hit. Walked twice, reached on a fielder's choice. Cash at .239 on the season, and that started the last 4 games for the Red Sox. This one in the air to center field again. And again, it's Patterson. There's 2 outs in the 9th.
So Patterson's been busy since coming into the game.
4 of the last 5 putouts handled by Corey Patterson in center field. Two down for Coco Crisp, who's had a very good day. 2 for 4 in the ball game with a home run. And 4 runs batted in. Coco takes a strike, and it's 1-1. When interleague play first started, the Red Sox really had their struggles in the early going, the first few years of interleague play, but it's truly been amazing what the Red Sox have been able to accomplish over the last couple of years. Since the start of 2006, in fact, they are 32-9, tied with the Tigers for the major's best interleague winning percentage in that time span. It's easy for us to sit here and say that it seems the National League is inferior at times based on what the Red Sox have seen against the National League, but it seems to work in cycles. Coco Crisp strikes out. He knew it. And it's a 1-2-3 ninth for Jared Burton. On to the bottom of the ninth. 9-0 Boston. Boston Red Sox baseball on NESN is brought to you by your New England Ford dealers, Dunkin' Donuts, Nissan, Foxwoods Resort Casino, your New England Dodge dealers, Olympia Sports, the official sporting goods retailer of the New England Sports Network, Subaru Outback, and by Southwest Airlines. Bottom of the ninth inning from Cincinnati with the Red Sox on top 9-0. On for the Red Sox, right-hander Mike Timlin.
23rd appearance of the season for Timlin. He's 3-3 on the year. His last outing coming on June 11th. That was against the Orioles at Fenway, an inning in that ball game, and did have a strikeout. Opponent's batting average of .305 on the season against Timlin.
Edwin Encarnacion to lead it off here for Cincinnati. He is 0 for 3, fly to left, grounded out to third on 2 occasions. David Ardsma worked the 8th inning, and after walking the leadoff hitter Holbert Cabrera, retired the next 3 in a row. Patterson, Phillips, and Dunn.
And Timlin stumbling on that first pitch in his landing area. A lot of different pitches have been out on that mound today with a lot of different landing spots.
In there for a strike, and it's 1-1. Encarnacion, of course, with a home run in the 9th inning yesterday that tied the score off Jonathan Papelbon. Today 0 for 3. Another strike, and it's 1-2. Strike 3 call. Timlin strikes out Encarnacion to begin the inning.
Looks like Timlin goes to a slider on the inside corner for the strikeout. Now let's see if he can get Votto out. Nobody else has been able to do that this afternoon. 3 for 3. All 3 hits coming against Beckett on a curveball, fastball, and changeup.
Votto with 3 hits today, 2 for Holbert Cabrera and 1 for Javier Valentin, and that is it for Cincinnati. A 6-hit day. The strike and the count 1-1 to Votto. Josh Beckett 7 shutout innings today with 6 strikeouts. David Ardsman worked the 8th inning without giving up a hit or a run. This one rolled down the first baseline foul and out of play. 1-2. Mike Timlin, as you saw now, with 1,034 career appearances, first among active pitchers, 8th all time. Kent Tekulve is next at 7th at 1,050. Strike 3 call, back-to-back strikeouts for Mike Timlin, and there's 2 down in the 9th.
Well, finally they can retire Votto this afternoon, and a fastball away from Timlin.
I mentioned earlier Mike Timlin working against the Orioles last. He had had a tough outing against the Orioles, came back the very next day, pitched very well. Now some time in between appearances, but off to the good start here in the bottom of the 9th. Strikes out Encarnacion, Votto, and here is Valentin, who hits a one-hopper to first. Casey's got it, and the Red Sox able to shut out the Cincinnati Reds 9-0 today and take 2 out of 3 in this interleague series against Cincinnati. In impressive fashion today behind 4 home runs for the Red Sox and a big offensive attack. Great pitching in this one as well. They shut out the Reds 9-0. Jerry and I'll be right back, but first here's Tom Curran with a preview of what's coming up on WB Mason's Extra Innings. TC.
Thank you, Don. We will look back on 4 homers for the Red Sox today. That matches a season high. We'll tell you how Chin-Ming Wong was injured in the Yankees game, and we'll preview 3 games in Philadelphia as Terry Francona goes back to the place where he managed the Phillies. Jim Rice with me here in our studios. WB Mason's Extra Innings on a Father's Day coming up next.
Closed captioning provided by Finagle. Whether it's breakfast, lunch, or supper, don't settle for average food. Go beyond that. Finagle, go beyond good.